I'll share with you 10 things that you can do as a freight broker business owner to make sure that your brokerage is prepared and ready to attract top-tier freight agent talent. Why is this important? Because at some point, as the business starts to grow, you might find yourself wanting to step further and further away from the business. One way to achieve this objective is to make sure that you have qualified agents that can take the ball and continue to run. So come on inside and I'll share with you these 10 things that you can do, and you can start this today. Quick clarification. When I reference top-tier freight agent, this is a person who has some experience already, has worked with a freight broker, has an established book of business. This is not someone you have to start at ground level zero with. This person has an understanding of the fundamentals of freight brokering. If you're starting with ground level zero with every person that you bring on, you're going to find that that is very difficult and it's going to present you more problems than it's worth. Now let's get back on topic. How does your freight brokerage attract experienced freight broker agents? Well, I think that starts with a question, a very simple question. What do experienced freight agents want? If you don't know what the fish are biting, then it's harder to catch fish. But if you have some idea what it is that the fish want, you might have a better chance of catching more fish. The fish in this analogy represent freight broker agents. And what freight broker agents want, really more so than anything else, are three things. Number one, a platform in which the freight broker agent can move loads at scale. Number two, a grade A credit rating, allowing the freight agent to move loads with pretty much any freight factoring company. And number three, a competitive pay structure in the range of 70-30, 70% to the agent, 30% to the broker, or 80-20. Effective communication is the key when it comes to the relationship between the freight broker and the freight agent. The broker should make sure that he clearly articulates what the mission of the company is, what the requirement of the position is, and what his expectations are. This is a conversation that should be an open conversation. When you're considering hiring someone, this is a very important move. So this is not about just what you think. You want to make sure that you're giving that person a chance to talk, so you can understand and learn more about that person. Because it could be that that person is going to give you some information that clearly tells you you should hire or maybe you should not. And since we're on hiring, let's just stay there. Sometimes you can hire freight agents too soon. If you hire freight agents and you have not built the foundation of the business, you don't really have a customer base to speak of, you don't have a trucking network, you haven't established any credit, you really just have a motor carrier authority number and you're having someone come and work under that authority. And you're really expecting that person to build the business. Usually that's not going to happen because no other person is going to put the same commitment, dedication, and energy, time, and effort into the business that the owner would put in, and that's what it's going to take in order to build that business from zero. Now let's talk about non-compete agreements. Top freight agents usually don't want to navigate your non-compete agreements. If they wanted to do that, they would probably go out and work with one of the larger freight brokerages. If you want to have a non-compete agreement and you feel like your assets, your customer base is so strong and you have so much to lose that you want those non-compete agreements in place, then go ahead and put those agreements in place. But understand that's what's attractive about smaller freight brokerages is that they don't have so much of that red tape. And sometimes that is a deal killer when it comes down to a good freight agent. That might be the one thing that kills the deal if you have a non-compete agreement. So what about sales quotas? Is it a good idea to have sales quotas for your agents to meet? I certainly think so. Where there is no vision, people perish. If you don't have goals, objectives for the team, for individuals to meet, sometimes they just wander off aimlessly and they don't have any real thing that they're trying to achieve on a daily or on a weekly basis. So we want to give them a target to shoot at. So I think it's a good idea that you have sales quotas in place, and if those quotas are not being met, then you have to consider retraining or getting rid of the agent and moving in a different direction. Now let's take a look at load tracking. If you don't have load tracking capability, you probably want to invest in that. That's something that is really a requirement now. Yes, you can still do check calls, call in and check in with the carrier, but it's a lot easier, and now shipper customers will be looking for that capability. So you want to make sure that you have load tracking capability. That way you can give a shipper a link and they can track and see where their truck is. Or you might have mobile applications that you want to check out. But at any rate, you want to have some type of load tracking ability. Agents will have access to that, and that be a feature of the service that you offer. Do you need to upgrade your TMS system, transportation management system? If you have a system in place now and you can give other users access to the system, you can go in and create username and password and they can use that system, then maybe you don't need to go out and get a new system. If you have advanced capabilities already and you can go out and have access to LTL freight through your TMS, then you might be in good hands already. But if you don't have that type of system in place, maybe a system that has some AI features in place, then you may want to go out and upgrade that system, because the better system you have in place, the easier it will be to move loads. And of course, the more likely you're going to be able to keep agents long term. The freight agent you're hiring, are you hiring them as a salaried employee or as a commission-based or independent contractor? There's a different dynamic to hiring someone as an employee. I would highly suggest that you talk with your CPA and find out how you need to navigate this. But if you hire as an employee, generally, you have to go in and set that person up as a W-2 employee. You have to pay payroll taxes, and there's a different accountability that comes with that. So that's something that you really need to sit down and talk about with your CPA if you decide to go the route of a W-2 employee. But here's what I've found. Freight agents, top freight agents, are not interested in being employees. They're not interested in capping their pay. So they want to be an independent contractor. They want to be paid based on commission. And when you really look at it, that's how you get paid as a freight broker. You don't just work and get paid. You work based off of the sales that you produce, the profit that you produce. You get paid, off of the work that you produce. Next up, let's talk about advertising. If you want top freight agent talent to know that you're looking for top freight agent talent, the best way to do that is through advertising. I wouldn't leave it to chance and just hope somebody finds out that I'm looking for top talent, because that's going to come few and far between. If you're actively running ads, then people are going to find out what you're looking for. A good place to start out with ads is the free version of any of the social media outlets, particularly LinkedIn, YouTube. But there's also some paid options that you can try at some point in those same social media outlets, but also I would add a publication called Transport Topics. You can probably go in and talk with Transport Topics about paying for ad space, running small ads, letting the freight agent world know exactly what it is that you're looking for. And last but not least, be a good leader. Give your agents the tools, the guidance, and the power that they need to be successful. And always remember to treat your agents like you would want to be treated. They're only going to be as good as you help them to be. Have a great day. Have a great rest of your week. Until the next time, see you all the way at the top, because the bottom is too crowded.